For the longest time ever, I worked extensive hours on my computer, 6, 8, 10, sometimes even 12 hours a day, trying to be productive, trying to scale my business, until I found a way where I could compress all of that work, that 8 hours plus of work, down into 2. There are 7 steps I took that allowed me to compress an 8-hour workday into a 2-hour workday, allowing me to have more freedom and be more effective with my time. And if you are growing a business, especially a one-person business, things can get pretty hectic, especially if you have to do everything yourself. You might find yourself working 8+ hours a day, which is the last thing why we started a business for. We started a business for freedom, not to find ourselves working countless hours on our desks. The secret that I found to work best for me was to do less, not more, but higher impact. That is what leverage is all about. The good news is it's pretty simple to apply, and I'm going to show you how to do it, starting with step number 1. Step number 1 was to identify my money generating activities, or the top 20% of the tasks that generates me 80% of my results. Now, there's going to be a lot of things that you need to do to scale, to grow a business. There's going to be a few activities that are going to generate more money in the bottom line than others. And what I did was I basically mapped out exactly what I was doing that's going to generate me more money, or generate me money, and then just double down on the things that's been working. So I used the Pareto principle, so created a Pareto chart, and I discovered that email, Twitter, and YouTube are the core platforms that would generate me the most money. And then all the other platforms that I was on, Instagram, LinkedIn, sending DMs, and other stuff, referrals, wasn't really generating me that much money. So then this gave me the clarity on how I should spend my 2-hour workday on my computer. Rather than spending 8 hours doing all these things, I might as well double down on what's working so I can make more money and focus on what works. And once I figured out the core needle moving tasks that generates me more money, or I like to call them the big rocks that I need to move every day, I eliminated all these smaller impact stuff, which gets us to step number 2. I stopped focusing on the lower impact tasks and put all of my energy on the vital few, the high leverage activities. All of the low leverage tasks that eat up my time and attention, that don't move the needle as much, I outrighted remove them. And if not possible, I streamlined them. Basically, this is how I was operating before with 8 hours of work. All my energy was going towards multiple different areas. I would do everything under the sun. I would send DMs, I would send an email, I would hire an editor, I would have a VA, I'd be posting on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and I was creating content for each platform separately. So like, rather than me having significant progress on the vital few that's been making me money, I was spreading thin onto multiple platforms. And that is what causes you to work longer hours, is when you're not very specific with how you're spending your energy. This is not focused. Focus is when you focus on one thing, which is the vital few that matters. And when I did that, I was able to compress an 8-hour workday into 2 and have that 2-hour workday pretty much be equivalent to an 8-hour workday, because what I'm focusing on is what's going to generate me more money. And if you're wondering how I'm exactly doing that, like tactically, I have a video on my YouTube channel. It's called My Plan to Hit $50,000 a Month Working 2 hours a Day. It will show you exactly my process on making sure how I make more money working 2 hours a day. So you can check that out. Step number 3, I got rid of the dead time on my calendar, or the times where I would waste time doing stupid stuff. So all of the small things add up. These are small tasks that add up. And it's basically stupid things like opening up Twitter, opening up Instagram random times, or scrolling on my phone. And previously I used to have a phone screen time of 4 hours a day. That's a big time waster and a workday extender. So imagine, like, interspersed by the quality work that you're doing to move your business. Maybe you're recording a YouTube video, writing an email. In between that, you're checking Twitter, and you're doing all these things that is breaking up your attention. It's giving you attention residue. It's going to be very hard for you to focus and extend your concentration on what's going to make you more money. And that, in turn, extends your day to longer hours, extensive hours. So what I did was I reduced my phone screen time, and I got rid of the dead time on my calendar. All the dead times where I would spend doing stupid stuff, I would just remove that and then combine. I would basically create uninterrupted focus time, distraction-free focus time, where I could focus on my big rocks every single day. And then step number 4, that's what allowed me to focus intensely. So instead of having, imagine like your day is a spring. The coil is the quality work that you do, or the high impact work, and then the red part, the gaps between the spring, is like stupid stuff that you do, or like distractions that is not like high quality. Think of this as checking Instagram, opening up email, responding to messages back and forth. That's the red. The green is what's going to move the needle forward. What I did was I removed that, and that allowed me to focus more intensely because I have more uninterrupted time that I could really focus on what's going to make me more money. What I would do is I would set a 2-hour timer and focus strictly on what's on my money generating activities list, which is from step 1. Every morning, 0 distractions, 2 hours, 100% concentration. And then I would split my day into 2-hour focus sessions, and this allows me to get 8 hours of work done in 2, because I removed all the fluff. That's the number one thing. You want to remove the fluff. Now, focus is not possible without energy. If you don't have energy, then no system works. So step number 5 was I maintained high energy. So I got good quality sleep, I exercised, ate good food, nutrition, went on daily walks in the sun, so I can maintain my energy and focus in the long term. What I do is I personally have this program. I've been training for the past 7-8 years, and I figured out the ins and outs on how to work out in the most optimal way possible to build aesthetic physique in less time. Because my goal is not to be a fitness influencer in the gym, like living. My goal is to be in the gym, look good, and then use that as a fuel to help me build up my business, my dream life. So I spend around 2 hours in the gym per week, sometimes even less, but on average 2 hours, and I think I look pretty decent. Yeah, I've been training for 8 years, so it's not too bad. 2 hours a week, and that allows me to build a lean, high-performing body without spending more than 2 hours a week. I also get good quality sleep each night. I make sure I try to get 8 to 9 hours, and I try to eat healthy food. So animal protein, eggs, high tyrosine foods, fruits, vegetables, all the foods that helps me focus, I make sure I have that. So the goal is when I sit on my desk, I have the energy to lock in and focus intensely. Without energy, I'd be working extensive hours. Or if I wasn't getting good quality sleep, I won't be able to finish an 8-hour workday in 2. Like I would just find myself like craving for distraction because my brain is just doesn't have the energy. Cool. And then step number 6, I streamlined communications. So my day is not filled with calls or back and forth messaging. I implement clear times for communication and systems that allow me to still provide an awesome service to clients without a fully stacked up calendar. I know lots of people in the online business agency space, they always try to do like book calls, ram up more calls. I don't like that. I prefer having more free time to focus on improving my service for my clients and hopping on calls with people that haven't paid me. So I pretty much streamlined that, the communication stuff. So the next step, I'll show you how I did that. But basically what I do is I try to implement one-to-N thinking. So instead of me hopping on one-on-one calls with every single person I come across with, I'd rather hop on a one call with a group in a group setting. That way I can teach something once and multiple people will see it. Or if I'm working with multiple clients, I'd rather have office hours where people could show up and I could answer their questions rather than me hopping a one-on-one call with each single person. That will just extend my day longer. Because calls is a workday extender, and then consolidating that into one call really saves up time. And also, like, there's a lot of things in your day that could add up to a lot of cumulative time. So figure out systems and ways to pretty much stop doing stuff. That is what systems does for you. So streamline communications. And this gives me the space to focus on my business and move things forward, not on firefighting problems when they pop up. So another example is, let's say a client has a question or a question is frequently being asked. Rather than me answering that question over and over back and forth, I'd rather create an SOP or create a video explaining it step by step how I solve it, and that saves me time in the future. So frequently asked questions, noted down into an SOP or a video, is going to save you time. So you streamline that communication, the back and forth stuff. And then step number 7, I removed sales calls. I don't do sales calls. I sell with text. I replace trying to convince people about my services for 60 minutes. only to get a maybe, that's the last thing I want to do, is hop on a call with someone, try to explain the whole details of the program, and then 16 minutes later, they're like, I'll think about it. What a complete waste of time. What I'm doing now is I send people a text document or my offer doc and explains my services probably better than I would. And I focus on the people that say yes to that. So I only hop on calls with people that have paid me money, because then that already proves that they've made the investment and they're already proved that they're serious about things. People to hop on calls, sales calls, sometimes they're not serious. What a waste of time spending time with people that are not serious. Okay, so this itself took off hours off my workday. And to do this, I only need 3 things to sell without calls. I need a clear offer that shows exactly what they're gonna get. It needs to be easy to get started. And then there needs to be a why now reason. When I have these 3 things, selling by chat worked even better than selling by calls for me personally. And this itself saves me 10 plus hours a week hopping on calls back and forth with prospects, which is not what I want. And with that, with all these steps, now I'm able to get what most people get done in 8 hours, done in 2. And with that, I can repeat it up to 3 times a day. So before 8 hours, I could get X amount of work, but because I removed all the fluff, which the past 7 steps I showed you, that allows me to compress getting 2 hours of work done for the equivalent for the 8 hours of work done. Then because how I have my health and performance set up, have my day set up, I'm able to do that 2 to 3 more times, and that gives me even more power in my time. So I can get 2 to 3 days worth of work, or 1 to 3 days worth of work done. And that gives me freedom. I could either stop working after 2 hours or do 2 more 2-hour deep work sessions and get even more work done. That's a freedom I get as a 2-hour man, because I follow a 2-hour deep work session rule. So yeah, if you found this helpful, I send a daily insight on how 2-hour men finish 8 hours of work done in a single 2-hour deep work session to grow their business by 40%. You can check the link in the description to join the email list. It takes 2 minutes and it's changing the way these people work. I'll see you there. You can unsubscribe at any time. See you.